these defensive quotes that we're getting from these defensive players for our team, baby, are they very wild ones. Let's talk about it. So starting off right away, the first one we got here is about Cam Taylor-Britt getting benched. And here's what he had to say. I don't even think about it anymore. We're in the now, and I've got control of it. Cam Taylor-Britt. Okay, first off, man. Okay, so you going from not benched to benched is not because you started playing better or doing better or like looking better. You still look like crap. But the problem was Marco Wilson got hurt and we didn't have anyone else to fill in. So you kind of became the, well, we're going to have to use Cam Taylor-Britt because, we don't have anybody else. Like, the way he's putting this sounds like he's sitting here saying, well, I overcame that and it's over with now and I'm just happy it's over with. Bro, if we had any other living cornerback who could play football on this roster, you would be benched again. Like, the fact you're still on this roster is an absolute joke. So, I don't understand this whole concept of like, I don't think about it anymore. It's in the past. I'm in the now. No, it's not in the past. Because you should be benched now. You didn't automatically become good, and now that's why you're starting. You're starting because we literally have no other.
I don't even think about it anymore. We're in the now, and I got control of it. So I think, now for me is go out there and do your job and let the plays come to you. That's how I've been playing ball before and wasn't worried about nothing else. I think it's time to get back to that.
What was that defensive players only meeting like? Who organized that?
A couple of us and captains as well. But, I think it was a collective group, honestly, man, in the sense of, like, we need to get this together. We're the only ones that can do it. Regardless what the coaches call, it's literally on us. We're the ones on the field, so, yeah.
So you said it was the captains. Like, who was the – who kind of –
Logan, Trey, you got Gino, DJ. Like, it's really a defensive effort, man. I feel like we all know this. At the end of the day, nobody can do anything about it but us, so it really doesn't matter.
How frustrating was it to have that early in the year? I think last year y'all had about week 13, 14 after like Pittsburgh, I think. For y'all to have it this early, how frustrating is it given how good y'all wanted to be at the start of the year?
Better now than later, in a sense. You see what we did, not to dwell on last year, but get our stuff together, went on a run. And there's most of the same guys in here from that then. So at the end of the day, like I said, we know what we need to do and come together and play together, play complementary football.
What does a better defense, Cam, look like to you and to the group?
Great communication throughout all three levels, flying to the ball, great tackling, turnovers, getting them the ball back. I think everything plays a hand in that, especially with the offense we got. I think it's all about the ball for us, so, we got to get that.
One thing a lot of people talk about inside and outside the game of football is swarming to the ball. Do you think you guys can do a much better job of swarming to the ball?
It's all about effort, man. They want to. So I don't think anything. I know for sure is possible, and we got to go do it. Man, treat it like do or die, man. At the end of the day, a lot of people don't get to play this game. You need to realize that. I think, in a way, people tend to get comfortable, complacent about what we do in life, being an NFL player, and it's not. You don't get to play. It's not a choice for you. Guys bless you to play this game. So I think, in a sense, you have to. You can't take it for granted. And I think when you put it in that sense, you better give it your all, or it could be taken away.
Option. Anyway, continuing. Miles Murphy. Oh, man, this is going to be great. I want the game to be on our backs. Okay, all right. I think what he's saying is he wants to be the underdog going into these games so that they can play better because they're going to feel like the world's against them. I want the game to be on our backs. That's kind of the way I've always been since high school. Miles Murphy insists the defense is making strides every week and will not share the details of Monday defensive player only meeting. The defense is not making strides every single week. You go from the Steelers game to the Jets game. That defense looked even worse in the Jets game than they did in the Steelers game. If that's making strides, okay. But you're making strides backwards. You're not going forwards. You're going backwards. That's a problem.
I always want the game to be on us. I want the game to be on our backs. That's kind of how I've always been since high school. I want the game to be dependent on what we do on our side of the ball. So, yeah, I think it was very encouraging seeing what our offense did these past few weeks, honestly. So, as a defense, it is encouraging, and it makes us want to step our game up, if anything.
I know it's the other side of the ball, but if it is Jake Browning that gets the starts, how much confidence do you guys have in him, knowing the struggles over the past couple weeks?
Very confident, honestly. About to say he's a professional as well. You can't take the past few weeks into this week. You got to learn from it, grow from it, and just keep walking forward, keep taking those steps. And I have full confidence in whoever we put at quarterback, all of our quarterbacks. I have full confidence in them, seeing what they do at practice. I trust our receivers. They trust our receivers. O-line's been doing a good job. So I trust our offense as a whole, yeah.
Coach Montgomery working with you guys really very intensely, and I know he always does. But when he's working with you like this week, coming off the game that you guys had, is there any more attention to detail in a moment like that before practice begins?
No, Jerry, he's always very intense. Pre-practice, post-practice, during practice, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, regardless of what it is. He's a very intense coach because he demands a lot from us. Regardless of who his guys are, he demands a lot from his room. It should not be any extra attention to detail. It should be, what can I fix from my routine the past few weeks? All right, let's switch this and stick with it. That's really how it is for me. What can I switch from my routine the past few weeks? And whether that be a little bit more studying, more stretching, more recovery, whatever it is, choose it, stick with it, and kind of take it into the next few weeks, really.
How close do you think you guys are? Let me ask you, how close do you think you are to maybe breaking through, and then maybe collectively as a group?
I guess personally, I feel like I've been taking the steps the past few weeks. I feel like I've been stacking pennies. I've been saying that all off season, all season. Just keep stacking pennies, get 1% better every day. That's been my mission, and I think I've been seeing that as a D-line. As a whole, we've been stacking pennies, getting better every week. Last thing you want to do is take a few steps back because we're getting comfortable, so you never want to get to that. I'm comfortable because I've been getting better, and then you kind of plateau out, so you got to stay consistent with those things that you've been doing the past few weeks to keep taking those steps.
Do you think there's a little bit of complacency that's kind of set in? Is that something that you talked about that meeting on Monday?
That's what we want to stay away from. We want to keep that fire. Talking about the last game, we had lots of fire going out into the game to start the game out. First half, we were firing on all cylinders. Second half, it didn't feel as fiery on my part as well. So I think we just got to grow as a defense to bring that fire into the second half and really just not take a step back going into the rest of the season.
What's the key about not taking the foot off the gas? What y'all learn about that?
Staying fast. Literally do what everyone's a little bit different. So really just do whatever you have to do to come out firing on all cylinders. So some guys, it might be, just the way they warm up. For other guys, it might just be, I got to just hit somebody. For me, I got to just hit somebody, get my body just back up again, and we'll go crazy, whatever.
What was the biggest takeaway from that players' meeting?
Say one more time.
What was the biggest takeaway for you from that meeting?
I'm gonna keep that in house right now. Yeah.
With the meeting, did one of you guys kind of call it, or did you guys collectively decide as a defense that you needed to get together?
It was a collective agreement, honestly. But about what we talked about, I'm gonna just keep it in house for the defense. Yeah.
What is it ideally that can be accomplished from a players-only meeting coming out of that?
Honestly, it's a different perspective because every day you hear Coach Al, every day we hear Coach J-Mo. It's different when it's coming from a vet, a teammate, a rookie, whoever. It's different when it's coming from a teammate. So it's very encouraging to hear what your teammate's thinking so that we're on the same page. Okay, we can take those next steps.
What else we got here? Some players participating. Zach Taylor saying Zach Taylor nonsense crap. So I have more posts in my community tab, and I do want to talk about a couple of these here. So here's another thing that Miles Murphy said that I found funny. Biggest message was, don't let the outside world sink the ship. What he's saying by this is, don't let all the people who are trashing the defense and yelling about the defense cause the defense and the team to collapse. That's what he's saying here. Pretty much us who are complaining about the defense and complaining about how the Bengals are playing, they can't let that chatter impact them, because that's going to, make them play worse. Which I find hilarious. Because, number one, you guys are the one who are sinking the ship. We're just reiterating the fact that you guys are sinking it, that we don't want you to sink it. But you guys are finding new and more ways every week to sink the same exact ship. And the problem is, because they're bringing up the ship reference here, I'll bring up this reference. The front office, all the front office is doing, Duke Tobin, Katie Blackburn, Zach Taylor, all they are doing is rearranging the chairs on the Titanic. That's all they're doing. Titanic is sinking, and it's going down quick. And instead of getting the lifeboats ready, instead of helping people, they're just sitting there rearranging the same exact chairs and waiting for the ship to sink. That's all they're doing. And the players are now pointing fingers that everybody else, we can't let that affect us. We can't let that affect us. How about you just learn to tackle? How about you just learn to play defense? Let's start with that, right? Because at the end of the day, when you're in the NFL, you're always going to get criticism. Doesn't matter if you're the best defense in the world or the worst defense in the world. There's always going to be criticism, right? You got to take that criticism as motivation and as a chip on your shoulder that you're going to go out there and you're going to prove everyone wrong and you're going to do better. I wouldn't not listen to the criticism. I would listen to it and use it as motivation. But the problem is, the way I hear this and the way I see this based on watching the defense is, instead of using it as motivation, what they're using it as is, okay, we're fine. We're doing okay. We're definitely not where we want to be, but we're doing better. Let's try to, just ignore everyone and just focus on ourselves. And again, to Miles Murphy credit there, who said, he feels like they're making good strides every single week. Well, that's a problem, because they're not. And the front office, like I said, is just rearranging the Titanic chairs at this point, so they're not any help. So at this point, the only help you're going to get is from people who are upset with you, and they just don't want to hear it. So it is what it is. What are you going to do? It's typical football, man. Typical Bengals defense football. So shout out to that fact. But tell me down below your thoughts, opinions. See you guys next one.